Up next, we have SR Suntour's Durolux 38. Steadily improving their platform year after year, the latest offerings from SR Suntour look to be on par with some of the other high-end offerings on the market, but at a lower price point. Updated for 2025, the Durolux 38 is no exception, and the robust chassis has undergone a few refinements over its predecessor. The goal of the latest model is to offer uncompromised control and stiffness, and SR Suntour has achieved this by creating a stiff chassis with a damper that provides a useful range of adjustment. Built to handle the most aggressive applications, the construction of the Durolux reflects these intentions. The chassis now sits with a 6mm wider stance between stanchions than before. The upper crown assembly consists of a tapered steer tube and hollow crown butting up to 38mm stanchions to create a rigid foundation for steering precision that shaves as many grams as possible. Pressed into the lower legs are a set of SKF dust wipers to minimize as much friction as possible, and just below them sits a set of ports on the back side with set screws for pressure equalization. Fender mounting bolts are also found on the back side of the arch, and the fender, included with the fork, creates a seamless and sleek look when mounted. A standard threaded 15mm axle holds the wheel snug in the dropouts, and a 203mm post mount handles the brake interface. With several iterations since the inception of the Durolux, the EQ equalizer airspring system denotes a negative chamber inside, which equalizes on its own relative to the positive chamber. It is a standard construction airspring running on the inner wall of the upper tube with a transfer port for negative chamber equalization. Spring curve adjustment is possible by adding or removing volume spacers from the positive chamber. The spacers are made of rubber, unlike most volume reducers on the market, making them a bit easier to add or remove from the airspring top cap. The all-new RC Plus damper, which has been in development over the last 4 years, minimizes external adjustments for the simplest setup procedure possible. After realizing high-speed compression could be preset to where most riders would prefer it anyways, SR Suntour chose to ditch the high-speed adjustment altogether. The external adjustments of the RC Plus damper include 13 clicks of low-speed compression and 26 clicks of low-speed rebound to keep fine-tuning possible. The damper also has a bleed port at the top to help with blow-off under heavy bottom-out, burping oil out into the lower legs. The lower legs also use oil for the first time, whereas previous models only required grease. Our test Durolux in its 170mm travel and 44mm offset variant retails for a mere $849 and weighed in at 2,576 grams. This made the Durolux the cheapest fork in the test and the second heaviest behind Devio's Onyx 38. A big focus for SR Suntour has always been ease of maintenance, and the internal details of the latest Durolux 38 reflects that, but its capabilities were highly unknown among our group of test forks. So the question remained, is the Durolux more than just a cost-effective option that's easy to work on? And does it offer the performance to compete with the other high-end and more expensive forks on the market?
Durolux, Duramax.
The Durolucky.
The Durolux 38 was an unexpected strong performer for me in the group. I've never ridden SR Suntour suspension, so I didn't have any preconceived notions coming into this, and this fork did a really good job balancing stability with comfort and control for me.
This fork felt super comfortable right off the bat, provides a ton of support and stability. I think through the heavier compressions, it didn't seem to dive too easily, and the small bump is still really good on it.
I didn't think it was going to be anything great, to be honest, because there's not that many adjustments, unlike, some of the other forks where there's just clickers everywhere. You would think that more clickers is more better, but sometimes you can get really lost in it. This fork was super easy to set up.
Setting up this fork is pretty straightforward. Going off the recommended setting, I couldn't really get sag where I wanted it, so I opened it up and pulled 2 of the 3 volume spacers out that came in it.
Overall, I just thought it was a fork that took little fussing with to get to a ride quality that was really lively, made for a fun ride down the trail, and had that good good mix of support and comfort.
Through larger undulations, it was really supportive, really stable. I think where I noticed the drawback from some of the higher end offerings perhaps, or you kind of get 80% of that small bump sensitivity through high speed chatter, like the high frequency braking bumps. I think by the end of the run, I just noticed a little bit more feedback in my hands. Speeding up rebound 1 click from where I started did help quite a bit with that. but it still was just maybe a touch off from where the upper end of the category fell. But the trade-off when looking at a fork like this is it is notably cheaper. I think this fork comes at around $800.
Yeah, that mix of having a really nice support to push against riding the bike park flow reader trails, it just stayed high in its travel. It was great to generate speed pumping through corners, a nice platform to push off of lips, and go through G-outs, and yeah, just carry good speed and not feel like you're cycling through the travel too much. Then on the other end of that, through the rock gardens, really hectic sections with a lot of compressions happening, it did a good job of maintaining that consistent ride height. I preferred running it as open as I could to maximize the comfort in rock gardens, and then rely more on the air spring to give me that support and hold up.
It had all the bottom out support that you needed. It stayed pretty high up in the travel. So overall, I thought the SR Suntour was a great fork. I would not be mad if it was on my bike. I think a lot of people would be stoked with this fork on their bike.
Only thing that keeps this right behind the Zeb, the 38, or the Olins is it just doesn't have quite that smooth, easy on the hands feel like those forks do. It's still really comfortable, but if I am putting them head to head, this is still a little bit below that just in that overall comfort.